You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the December 2nd meeting for the LaPorte County Parks and Recreation Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Looks like 5 o'clock to me. I'd like to call the LaPorte County Park Board meeting to order. Can we have a roll call?
Michelle Gray is absent. Jesse? Here. Jim?
Here.
Mike?
Here.
Ron?
Here.
Nick?
Here.
And Mary Nell? Here. All right.
Okay, why don't we go ahead and stand, and the flag is in the corner. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, approval of the agenda.
From what was sent out to the media, I wanted to add one thing. It's already on your copy, but we need to vote to approve the 2026 Park Board meeting dates and locations. So,
Okay.
And that is in the packet, but I just need to make sure we mention that. So.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda as written?
I move to approve the amended agenda.
And a second?
I second.
We all do. We all do. Okay, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. The minutes from the last meeting, any changes, corrections, comments? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting? So moved. And a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Do we have any public comment? No? Okay, we'll get some comment later. Okay, the financial report. Any questions on the financial report? Things are dwindling down as they should.
Yeah, so last POs went in, last regular POs went in last Monday. There's still, we can still do like expedited or electric bills or things like that, but they, in order for the county to get everything balanced and all that, it's pretty much done as far as purchasing until the end of January. That doesn't mean if something comes up, we can't make it happen, but
Yeah.
it's a little.
And the only thing that has any funding is propane, I think was the only thing.
Yeah, propane and, substantial funding anyway.
Yeah.
And that's just because we didn't have to fill up,
Yeah.
We didn't have to use much, and we did fill up. I think we did fill up fairly recently, last
Yes,
month.
we did.
So,
Yeah.
but.
Okay. Any comments on the, other comments on the financial report? Can I have a motion to approve the financial report?
I move.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Superintendent's report?
Just wanted to highlight a few things. The Bloom project report, they will be starting to do some tree removal along that corridor this winter. They were, the earliest they could start was December 1st. I don't see that happening with the snow. I think they're probably going to be hoping for some frozen ground and, things like that. But I think they could do it in the snow, but I'm thinking that frozen ground is the main thing. If we get some frozen ground, that would be best. So that's where that's at. They did hire a local contractor, I believe, to do that. And, so if we did post I think if you remember, the DNR came and presented kind of what's going to happen here and things. So we did post a summary out there as you're walking back into the woods, so people can see, like, if they go back there and see a bunch of work going on or whatever, if there's trails closed at the time, we put a billboard there, a board up back there where we can post some stuff and make sure they understand what's going on and not just see it happening and why are they tearing trees down in the park kind of thing. So, as far as the foundation funded projects, I just wanted to kind of update you on those. Those are in your packet on page 9 and 8 and 9. So for Bloom, we do have some invasive treatments that are coming. I think we've done half of, he's done about half of that. We bought the underfence mow strips for the dog parks. Those are those plastic mow strips that are gonna help us keep from spraying and weed eating all the time. So that'll be a lot of money and time savings. The trail signage and the trail reroutes and planning was all contingent upon this project that's going on. So that money hasn't been spent or isn't even in the works yet, but once we start getting that project completed, the foundation has agreed to pay for some of that trail work. For Lure, he has done some invasive removal, not the full 5,000 yet, but so that some of that's been done. Composite decking, we didn't end up using the composite because of the cost. We just ended up going back with the wood treated lumber. So what we ended up doing was kind of combining the three projects there. That was the decking, removal of the observation tower and replace, and then the new trail bridge for the south 15 acres. The 15-acre trail bridges are done. Taking the tower down and replacing the deteriorated boardwalk is done. And now there's still quite a bit of money left in there. So I'm actually having a company come and talk to me about potentially treating that wetland for invasives. It's basically almost 100% reed canary grass. So we're looking at possibly drone application of herbicide, and so I'm first. They've done it out at Bloom on this new project. We weren't involved with that, but the same people are going to be talking to us about it and giving us some options as far as see how that would work out. I know that's a big thing now. They're starting to do in farm fields a lot more, like spot treating smaller spots instead of spraying a whole field. They could get really detailed with those drones, and so we'll see. And we'll see what they say. It's a funded project by the foundation. I've already talked to them about potentially shifting some of that money over to invasive treatment instead of the tower. If you've ever been back there to Lure to that tower, it was old, and I mean that thing was probably 25 years old. It was time for it to come down, but we kind of decided not to put a tower back. I mean, I don't see. It's not like you're looking over, the Smoky Mountains or a big river or something. The way we got it set up now, if you get out to Lure, walk back to that wetland, I think what the guys did was a pretty amazing job on those boardwalks, and it kind of takes you out onto this little high point, and there's a room for a small class to stop and talk about it and that kind of thing. So, and then the prescribed fire is done. So that's kind of where we ended up this year on the foundation.
Can I ask you a question for everybody needs to read this there? When they apply the herbicide, is that just for that season, or is there any kind of
So it'll kill the plant.
good? I hate that
And the
stuff.
root.
Yeah.
And then the idea is we gotta think about what's gonna be next, That reed canary grass is probably gonna take a couple of years of of treatment. I don't think we can just kill it and expect it to just never come back. Now, MS4 did a spray over, and I'm gonna have him, maybe have him meet with us, see if I can get him to meet with us when I talk to these people from the drone company and see, because he did across Highway 2 from the fairgrounds, they did a treatment.
Okay.
And I want to see what theirs looks like this coming spring.
Right.
They killed it really good for the fall,
But is it coming back?
but we'll see if it's gonna come back.
Right.
So.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Last thing, we kind of talked about 2025 budget review already. I think we did a pretty good job of spending what we could, down. Not that the goal was to spend every bit of money, but I mean, we were pretty accurate on what we needed and those kind of things. If you look at our salaries, obviously there's money left there. We're in good shape there. Postage has a tiny bit of money left in it. propane is always hard to get exact, and especially because I think we had to fill up early in the year last year, and so it started, or we filled up really late last year, so it was full for several months at the beginning, so, and then, so pretty much everything else was spent down, and then, ended up with, our non-reverting is doing well, but, we're looking at some projects for next year, like a new furnace and air conditioner over at another new furnace, and actually 2 new furnaces and air conditioners over at one for the office and one for the hall, the rental hall. There's actually 4 furnaces and air conditioning units in that building, 2 for the rental hall, 1 for the hallway and bathroom, and 1 for the office. So we've got 2 of them replaced just in the last 2 years. So we're hoping to get the other 2, and then we'll be in pretty good shape. Probably the next one would be needed would be the nature center, and then this building probably after that. But these are probably, I'd have to look. I can't remember how old these are, but they're still fairly new. These are in pretty good shape. So, but yeah, we're looking at different ways we're going to be spending some of that non-reverting. We just equipped the dump truck with a plow out of that non-reverting, so that's another thing we spent some money on. And so now we have 3 plow trucks instead of just 2 in case one goes down or whatever.
Could be more efficient with 2,
Yeah,
for sure.
And the Canada Live solar panels, that's ongoing.
that is, the grant went away. Yeah, it disappeared. So
Okay.
I contacted them several times. I'm not even sure a lot of those people are still working. I think they may have been part of the Doge reductions. So, because I don't get responses from them.
I see, yeah, thanks.
That's pretty much all I had on the my admin report, but I wanted to also kind of update a little bit on the program report, or the programs, and mention a few programs that are coming up. So if you look at page 13, kind of had just a recap of kind of our major programs and something we had. The Visit Michigan City report was nice enough that they had, I don't know if you remember, we were talking about the Placer AI, which is a company that monitors big events by your cell phones and things that are there.
Wow. I was wondering how they did that.
Yeah, they estimate how many people are at these events and stuff. So, Pioneer Days, we talked about it before. We had 1,895 paid entries into the event. Placer AI estimated that there was a total of 3,500 unique visitors into the park those 2 days. Now that's, you got your volunteers in there, you got, so 3,500, that's a big couple of days. 2,800, almost 2,900 raised for the Park Foundation by donations, and then 4,790 for the Parks Department. Glow in the dark night hikes continue to draw 30 to 50 people almost every time, so that's a good number. The way she's got them set up, they do the hike on their own. They don't have to have. She's not trying to wrangle 30 to 50 people at once. They kind of go out in family groups and do their thing. So that's a good one. The Halloween night hike and hayride drew somewhere between 500 and 600 people, according to our rough estimates, and the Placer AI. That was very close to our estimates. Were close to what they said on that one. Local Flavors Dinner. Had 32 people registered, which was full for the event, and it filled up pretty early. Actually had people on the waiting list, so when we had somebody cancel, we were able to bring them in. And
I just want to say, I attended with my husband, and we just loved it. It was great. The food was great. Real nice people.
Yeah, next year. I think we're gonna try to do a meat option of something local that I end up catching or getting. So whether it be salmon or something from Lake Michigan or something like that. So it was a kind of a vegetarian meal this time, which
But hearty.
Yeah, there was plenty. There was pumpkin soup and wild rice and different stuff. So yeah, it was a really good event. But yeah, you know, that was a kind of a combination of idea from me and Lacey in April, and I said, this is something I really want to do, and, you know, we have all this stuff in the parks, and people don't realize that you can eat things from the woods, you know, and so it just, you know, kind of fun, different things that many people haven't eaten, like the pawpaws and the persimmons, some of the stuff like that. Upcoming, go ahead.
Did you tie in the food council with that?
We did not, but I bet that would be a good one. So like if we, because they,
I know they do a lot of stuff with local.
and I know several people on it. so
Right.
I didn't even make that connection. This is only our second year, so.
Right.
Did you ever get a chance to look at this? Was the brochure they had?
Yeah.
Pass that around.
Yeah, so thank you for that.
And it included recipes in there.
Yeah, which a lot of people actually really like.
Yeah.
Because and allergy wise and things
Right,
like that.
what am
so
I
they can
eating?
look,
Yeah.
You know, find out
Yeah.
what, wanted to highlight a couple of upcoming events. So, you know, how many times do we get asked, what do you do in the winter? We don't, you know, what do you do in the parks in the winter? You know, we're still doing events. We're still doing, fixing a lot of equipment. Oh boy, this didn't turn on.
Uh-oh.
I got you guys.
Oh, okay, yeah, thank you. We're still doing events, we're fixing equipment, we're plowing snow, you know, and we still have rentals that we're cleaning from every week, so.
And you're bringing in Santa's reindeer.
Yeah, so this Friday, December 5th, Santa's Reindeer Program at Lure County Park. Santa is gonna be there, the reindeer is gonna be there, music by members of the LaPorte County Symphony Orchestra. And then I wanted to say a thank you here, and we'll have thanks there too, but to Antero Group, Friends of the Library, and Reith Riley for all donating money to basically fund this whole event, to bring in the reindeer, and, you know, nothing's free anymore, so. Then, another one I wanna highlight is a holiday wreath craft on Wednesday, December 10th.
I'm attending that one too.
Yeah, so make and decorate your own pine cone wreaths. We picked up pine cones that were laying around in the park and in the grassy areas that we're having to blow out of the way anyway. So that'd be a good one. So that look at the website, laportecountyparks.org. First hike of the year. April's doing a hike on January 1st. So look that one up as well. And then a live owl program. We're having there's a place that rehabs owls and actually houses them, and they're going to bring some owls into the nature center on Friday, January 16th from 5 to 8 p.m. So that'll be a good event to bring kids to and stuff. That's a free event. So
Or dogs too. They're integrated.
so
That's excellent. That's
All right.
Cool stuff.
that's pretty much all I had for the superintendent's report.
Okay, and standing committee reports, executive committee does not have a report. Budget committee, no report. Personnel committee,
No report.
property committee,
No report for the property committee.
and planning committee.
No report.
Okay, rules committee. Gonna review some
We
fees.
reviewed the fee schedule
Yeah.
for the rental of the various.
Yeah, and you have on page, there should be some information on there. 18 and 19, kind of 19 gives you the, you might need a magnifying glass for that one, but you can look at it over any time, you know, when you have better lighting. So essentially what we did last year, and that should say proposed 2026 user fees. No changes, because we went up last year.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know, we did increase the prices last year, and I feel like we're in a pretty good place. We're still lower than, like Cummins Lodge and places like that, but I also believe that, if you look at our occupancy rates, you know, percentages are very similar to what they've been over the last 2
Okay,
years.
so there was no effect from
Yeah,
that.
and I mean, if you look at the number of times we rented Smith Hall, you know, so you always wonder whether when you raise those rates, you're
Right.
gonna lose.
Right.
And I mean, we still have people saying this is still a good value for,
Uh-huh.
you know, for what
Yeah.
it is, for what you get. So I just I just don't feel like, and it's not like our non-reverting was depleted down to nothing to where, you know, where we have to have more money to operate right now, right? So, we're getting by and we're doing well and, you know, still getting compliments on, parks being.
Yes, and other venues have increased their rates substantially, and I think that will just impact us having greater occupancy. So I think leaving it the same is going to be a good thing and allow people to say, hey, that's too expensive, let's try Smith Hall, or let's try some shelter here. And once they come here, it's like
To be honest,
no-brainer.
you know, we're Smith Hall's rented 79-80% of the time for Friday, Saturdays, and Sunday. A lot of those weekends that don't get rented are a holiday weekend where, you know, a lot of people just don't rent this kind of place for the holiday weekend. They might rent a shelter for the but 4th of July weekend, stuff like that, people just aren't doing this kind of stuff. They're either having a party at, you know, hanging out and doing a smaller party or whatever. But, you know, we don't see, and what a lot of people do on like Labor Day and Memorial Day is they go to a state park and camp, right? So they're not here looking to do a big thing at one of our shelters or rentals, you know. So those weekends that we don't rent, there's usually a reason, or somebody might tie up a weekend for us and then cancel and, you know, end up renting. So, but so anyway, it's going well, and I don't believe we need to raise them. So when we get to it, that's our recommendation, I think, from the rules committee.
I agree. Do we need to vote on that?
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
We will when we get to new business.
New
It's
business,
on
okay.
there.
It's on there, new business, okay. Okay, I don't think there's any other,
No,
commentary on
it's-
that?
It's not on there.
it's not?
It is not.
It is
Well,
not.
It
since
is
we're not
not, so
taking
let's-
any action, do we have to vote every year?
If we're not doing anything, I think.
Yeah,
We probably don't need to then?
yeah.
Okay. We'll take it that we don't need to, and if somebody wants us to, we'll do that in February. But it sounds like we're not making any changes.
Right. No.
No.
Agreed.
Okay. And there doesn't appear to be any old business. Let's move on to new business. And we have the Park Lake property master plan. And so we're going to have a little presentation.
Hello. If I stand, can you see? Is this okay?
Sorry
That's
about
much
that.
better, yeah.
Sorry about the close
If I'm in the
door.
way, let me know. My name's Mindy. I'm with Antero Group. Thank you so much for having me tonight. And there's also a draft plan here too, so you're more than welcome to flip around it too as well. So we're just going to go over a quick site overview, community engagement, concept plan and renderings, and then the next steps for the vision and development of Hunt Lake. So, quick overview. So, looking at the site, you'll see that there's a gravel area that's kind of that orange section in the map there that covers about 3 acres. There's about an acre of kind of a grassy area. There's this really steep ravine, and you can see the contour lines on here, where there's really, it's really quite steep. So you stand there, it's like, it's so scary. So that's there, and it's a lot of erosion is happening along that ravine there too as well. There's also 2 structures. There's kind of like this, it's a commercial industrial building, but it's really like a nice shed. And then there's like a barn, probably like a pole barn that's on there, as well as 3 access points to the site. One of them here on the west side is a bigger like kind of parking gravel area. And then this bottom X down there shows where the access point is to where there's a gravel road that leads to the pond itself. In overall environmental, we've got the larger Hunt Lake itself, which is the larger lake on the southern edge, and then there's the smaller pond. The focus of this is really that pond area, but I just wanted to be able to showcase the water features that are happening within the area. It's all classified as Zone X, which is minimal flood risk, and then there's 6 different types of soil found in that area and around the area. Mostly it's a urban land, also a Tracy sandy loam, which is very prone to erosion, and the urban land is really that full like gravelly area too. So and it's very disturbed, but not like unexpected. Historic uses for this property. So between 1888 and 1987, it really changed hands quite a bit of times. The small barn and the construction, or the commercial and industrial building were added in the 1960s. And then it was run by the county highway department and used for gravel, sand, and wood chip storage, which there's still quite a bit of that there. And it's currently zoned as agriculture, which I believe with the agriculture zoning, there doesn't necessarily need to be any changes made in the zoning for the development of the park.
I checked into that, and there doesn't need to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so. We also just did like a botanical review. So we did, this is kind of a list of the native, some of them are sensitive, some are non-sensitive. Like, I don't think we're gonna be worried about giant ragweed or horseweed, but they're there. So we kind of just did like a day where we really just went out there and tried to identify as many plants as we could see at the time. I think more, like later on, definitely some more in-depth review will need to be done, but this gives you a good overview that it really does showcase that there's a ton of really awesome native species there. And we also have the invasive and the non-native that are also present at the segment. And then we did have a community engagement event at Rolling Prairie High School in, I believe that was May of this year. Time flies, my goodness. And we had 4 activities. The first activity was the survey, and they had essentially put their top desired activities, amenities, features, and those kinds of things. The walking and nature chairs was like the biggest thing. Canoeing and kayaking and picnicking were the top activities. Desired amenities were restrooms, not like porta potties, but actual restrooms, fishing pier, scenic overlook, and a playground. Top safety features were lights along paths and gathering areas, as well as some security cameras. And desired programs were the nature and bird watching tours, environmental and nature education, as well as volunteer days and park cleanup days. And most people said they would go weekly, not just like every once in a while, and they would likely come in the afternoon. Our second activity was a vision statement exercise where we had essentially a huge word cloud. People picked 3 words that really spoke to them, and nature, preservation, and wellness were the top 3 words that were chosen. And so we wrote this vision statement, including those 3 vision words. And I'll just read that really quick. Hunt Lake Park will be a vibrant and welcoming space where nature is celebrated, preservation is prioritized, and opportunities for community wellness are woven into the landscape. The park will serve as a model for sustainable outdoor recreation, fostering a deep connection between people and the natural environment for generations to come. And then we have this third activity that was like a design and aesthetic, like what do people really want to see, what kind of things do they like design-wise. It doesn't necessarily mean that all of these amenities will be included in the park. It's just like, hey, this is what style we like. So for a boat launch, they really like this kind of natural feel. A fishing pier, they really like the longer extended with some railings as well. They have the lighting that's kind of tall and enclosed, overlook that's more of a natural vibe, a larger enclosure for bird blinds, so people really like the idea of bird blinds, which is great. So having one that's a little bit of a larger enclosure, and then like a gazebo, if there's one, then it would be more of a natural, smaller gazebo. A picnic area that's enclosed. Definitely people really like the idea of paved trails. So that was like definitely a big one. We saw that across the board in the survey and this, and also later on in our prioritization exercise too. People really liked the kind of an interactive education experience as opposed to like installed gaming or art installations. A larger playground as opposed to a smaller, and more of a natural enclosed event space. And then for the restrooms, they really like the single stall, just something that's much smaller, doesn't take up a huge footprint. And wayfinding signage, they really like the QR codes. So
That's a surprise.
I was surprised. I was like, okay. But maybe it's like more for like, here's the signage, here's something you can learn a little extra. So more in-depth analysis may be needed for the logos. The prioritization, that was our last exercise, where essentially everybody got like $5 fake dollars, to put toward their favorite amenities for the park. And so they had these little ballot boxes that they could put either all 5 in, or they could separate it into a bunch of different ones. And it was the ADA accessible trail, a connected trail network, the playground, boat launch, and then the picnic area that were the most prioritized items and amenities. So on to the concept plan and renderings. So based off of all of the feedback that we learned, it's kind of hard to read, I'm sorry, it's really small print, but there's some more here too if you want to see the printed version. But based off of the survey, all the community feedback and everything just about knowing about the site, we essentially came up with this concept plan where it has this ADA trail access toward the bottom, and due to the more steeper, it starts to kind of get steeper as you go north. So it's gonna be a lot tougher to have an ADA trail going north, but at least there's this kind of east-west trail, and then also the ADA accessible kayak and boat launch and fishing pier as well. And then there's these nice little places that you can kind of stop along the pond and like just kind of overview the water and stuff. And then on this side, I'll come over to this side. There's like a little bird watch over here. So it's nice so you can at least take a little walk and then stop over here and do some bird watching. That's a little bit further away from all of the activity that's happening over there. And then over here we have an overlook with also another bird watch, a little event space and picnic areas, playground, and then parking and restrooms.
I have a question.
Yes.
The trees that are shown around the trail, are those existing trees? Or those
No, these are they're just the fake trees.
There would be trees there.
Yeah.
They're not
They're not-
planting trees. is
Okay,
what-
that's my question.
Yeah,
Pretty
sorry.
wooded.
Yeah, it's wooded on that side and pretty much, I mean, most of it's wooded except up there in that northeast corner or northwest corner. So yeah, they're just the woods that's there.
Right, exactly.
And is that a fishing pier on the right side, the bottom path that goes
Oh,
there?
this one on the other side over there?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little fishing pier, or you could have like a little bench for like a seating area.
Are you talking about for the wetland down here in the south?
Yeah. that's-
No, I think one of the things that the people that came were very adamant about it was that they don't feel like we should be putting
Oh, you mean
people out
this?
onto
Oh, this part right
that.
here.
I think
No.
that,
Oh,
oh, okay.
above that on the right.
Oh, yeah, that would be.
This,
The
this
funny
one?
shaped one. Yeah,
This
that's
one? Oh, yeah. That would just be like, you could probably fish off of it too.
Yeah.
but it would be more of just a smaller,
okay. But so Jeremy, what you were talking about is not to go into the large
Yeah.
lake. Yes, I.
They had concern about
Yes.
ice fishermen because there's a lot of springs and ice, and then they didn't want, and then I get it, because we don't own that whole area,
Right,
right?
right.
So we don't want to be putting kayaks and boats out there, and I told them we would not be not be promoting that as being part of the boating and the fishing and things like that. So that would be a good site, in my opinion, too, for a bird
Yeah.
viewing area, because you walk out there to the end and you're away from almost everything. But yeah.
and then we put together some renderings as well. Just some fun like little fishing areas. So you're looking out at the fishing pier and where people can have the kayak and launch. And you'll see that there's the overlook in the background there.
Oh, it's up high.
Yeah, so you'd really be up there to be able to look down. So it's kind of a fun little view of the pond itself.
Yeah, that overlook would be up there by kind of where we parked and when we went to look at it, and then we saw the bald eagle out
Yes.
there.
Oh my
That's kind
goodness.
of where
How
that,
you plan that, I don't know.
Yeah,
That was good.
yeah, so that's kind of where that overlook
Yeah.
would be.
And then coming from that overlook area, really having the overlook here on the left, and then having even like a little natural seated area where you could still have a view of the nice like overlook area. And then you can see the playground in the background, it's like a picnic area. And as well as these, I feel like we have more potential to be ADA accessible than the ones that are coming around the lake itself, but. Yeah, then for next steps, it's really doing either a phase 1, maybe a phase 2 if it warrants it, wetlands delineation, threatened and endangered species review, water quality testing, geotech investigations, septic field testing if needed, and then of course, funding. So the funding could be, and some of this stuff too could also be through partnerships, whether it be with local colleges, universities, maybe there might be some class that wants to do water quality testing, I feel like it's out there. So there's definitely, or even a threatened and endangered species review. Like it would be a good way to really develop some of those partnerships. And funding always is lots of grants, also partnerships, fundraising, that kind of stuff. So, but yes, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that's the kind of brief overview of the plan. I think you guys have all seen the
Yeah.
plan, had a copy of it. you know, so if there's not any, I haven't had any feedback as far as any changes or anything like that, so if there's not a desire to make any big changes to that, I think we need to adopt that and, or, you know, vote to adopt that and then also vote to submit that to be added to our master plan, so that if we come up with a grant from the DNR or something, that it would be eligible, that project would be eligible for that, so.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Okay.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Ballpark dollar figure on,
Well, you know, it's gonna be a
real
lot.
ballpark.
It's gonna be a big ballpark.
It's gonna be big.
I mean, just, so my hope is that we can do this in phasing, right? So I've actually, you know, someone contacted me today about layer funding, which is a lake and river enhancement funding, and I said, well, you know, does that do access? Does that do, so it's more water quality stuff, so maybe some erosion projects, maybe some, so I think we could piecemeal this together, but my main goal is gonna be trying to figure out some way to get safe access for people to use the property
Yes.
first, right? Whether that's that first paved trail to go back and maybe it just ends at that point and there's a couple of fishing nodes and maybe a place to put a kayak and a canoe in, something like that. I mean, I think if we find the right donors and stuff, I think we can make some of that kind of stuff happen pretty quickly. The bigger, more playground and, you know, that's gonna be down the road farther.
Yeah, for sure.
You know.
And maybe start with porta potties and then later.
Here's the thing, we have the building that's there has a restroom
Yeah.
and septic already. We could modify that building and make it into a restroom.
That'd be great.
And maybe a little break room for our staff, but, you know, on the backside and then a
Yeah.
restroom. So I think there's some makings there for some potential, you know, not so expensive, you know, things. But
For the interim, that's
yeah,
great.
so, because I think once we start really rolling this out and start doing something, people are already asking me, when are you gonna get that open, when are you gonna get that open? And, you know,
And we have some really talented staff. I mean,
Yeah.
our maintenance folks are just amazing. So I think things are going to be starting small, but starting very efficiently. So, so basically we need a motion to adopt the master plan and put it into our main
Master
plan,
plan.
master plan. This
master
master plan. Yeah.
Yeah, I so move that we,
Okay, can we have
go
a-
ahead on this,
On that?
and adopt it into the master plan.
Okay. And can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Yeah, I think this is kind of exciting.
It is, yeah.
I think there's some
half of the county thanks you.
Yeah.
now the South, I got to hear.
know.
That's the first thing I heard from one of my foundation members was there's still nothing in the South. I'm like, yeah. Find some land, and, you know,
And
it's not flooded.
Right.
Exactly.
And then staffing, keep,
Yeah.
Going out to that area too, and, that's.
And that's
part of it.
another reason to do this in phases,
Yes.
right? Because they're not gonna give me another person tomorrow. If I say we're gonna open this park, I'm not getting another person right away, right? So,
Yeah.
my goal would be to have, like we are set up now, we have one full-time person at each park. And they start out there and make sure everything's good, and then, in the season, we have a seasonal, but as you get more amenities at those parks, you need somebody there daily. At least 5 days a week or whatever.
Yeah.
Just making sure that things are okay, make sure there's no water leaks, make sure, the more you develop it, the more things can go wrong.
Yes.
And you gotta have people there
Right.
Yeah.
regularly.
You have to have that monitoring,
So-
for sure. Okay, very good. Meeting dates.
Yep, so the last page, you look at that, and I did change from what I sent out to the executive committee, I did change the location of the December meeting because of what happened here today with the snow. And what happens is the people who rent that on this Tuesday rent it every year this Tuesday, the first Tuesday in December. So it's their Christmas party. I don't want to take that away from them for our board meeting. We can do that. So that would be at the nature center. The other thing I did was I changed And we have a meeting now in July because that's right around the time budgets are going on. And if you remember this past time, we had the budget was kind of, we got to hurry up and approve this and then approve it at the next meeting because it was after the budgets were already submitted. So we will meet 3 months in a row there and make sure we have the meetings right around budget time so we can get all of that taken care of.
And I saw September 8th, it was, there's no meeting.
Yeah, we changed that.
I was gonna, the first is the first, never mind, it's not, what I have.
Labor Day or,
Right, I think it's the day after Labor Day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
we're not having it then either, yeah.
No,
right,
and I think that makes sense.
yeah.
That does make sense. Can I have a motion to approve we have more commentary?
Favor to ask, because we did it years ago, but it's been a while. That first week of April is spring break for most of the schools in the county.
Okay,
And we've,
yeah.
in the past, we've moved it to the second Tuesday,
okay.
but we haven't been consistently. I'd ask that we maybe do that again.
Because I think I'm gonna be gone that week as well.
So April, it would be April
14th.
14th. Yep, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
No tax accountants here.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And FYI, I can't make the February meeting.
Okay,
And I can't make that either, or the March, so if we can have a virtual, that would be great.
okay, I'll try to see if we can
Get that set up.
set up.
We can practice it like a week before. or something.
Right.
See if I can log on. We can-
Okay. So, is everybody okay with the amended schedule? Can I have a motion to accept the schedule as amended?
I make that motion.
And a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, we'll get those modifications made and then we'll send that back out and then we'll send it to the media and everybody so they can see where the next meetings are gonna be and that kind of thing.
Okay. Board and staff comments, any? Hearing none. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So move.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
See you guys in February. Have a Merry Christmas.